Hello everyone, welcome to this map making session using QGIS. I'm Aman, a TA in CE331 course on Principles of Geoinformatics in Civil Engineering Department at IIT Kanpur. In this video, I'll guide you through the process of creating a map using the geospatial data collected using a total station. This session is designed to help you guide through converting your data into a meaningful map, which is an essential part of your group projects. So let's get started with this hands-on tutorial. Before we start with QGIS, make sure your data is sorted into two CSV files. The first file should contain all the points recorded using the total station, including buildings, trees, roads, etc. The second file should contain only the ground points, which we will use to create contours. Now, let's open QGIS software. Once you open it, the software will look something like this. Now, the first step is to import our data. So to import our data, we'll go to Layer and then this option Data Source Manager. There is a shortcut key that is Command+L for Mac or Control+L for Windows that you can press to open this Data Source Manager. You can also find this tool handy in here, that is Open Source Manager. Once click on it, you go to this delimited text, browse the CSV file that you've saved, hit open. Now you can see your sample data right in here. Ensure that you set the X field as easting, Y field as northing, Z field as elevation, M field as point code. Make sure that this DMS coordinates is unticked because our readings are not in degree minute second. You have to set your coordinate reference system. So in order to do that, you will click on this icon and then search for the coordinate reference system for your area. For our area, this is WGS84 UTM zone 44N. You can search this, and once you find it, you can hit OK. Now click on add, and now you can close this window. You can repeat the process to load the CSV file for ground data. Drag this ground data to the last and untick this because we will not need it to make the map, but to make contours we will use it later. We'll just now focus on this all points data. You should be able to now see various points representing different features as well as ground point. You can pan around or zoom in or zoom out to explore these points. Now the next step is to label these points. So in order to do that, you will select this all points, right click, go to properties, and then here is this labels. You select this as single labels and then set the value as the value that you would like to display as labels. So let's just select point name. You can do the formatting like font, style, size, color, and also attach a buffer or mask or background in order to make it more readable and more aesthetic. Once you're done with that, you can hit apply and then press OK. Now you'll be able to see the labels to your points, and these points now make sense to you because you know that which point you had set as T12, which point you had set as T44. Next, let's style the all points layer based on feature type. So for that, right click on this layer, hit properties, go to Symbology, select this as categorized, set the value as point code and hit classify. Now you can see that there are different categories that are assigned to your all points layer based on point code. So now you will be able to see buildings with different color, control points with different color, and so on. You can press apply and press OK. Now you can at any point of time during your work, you can hide the layers that you don't want and just focus on the layers that you want for making a particular type of features. So let's say you are interested in making buildings first. So we'll just tick this building and untick others and now only the building points will be visible to us. You can save this whole project as a QGIS project by clicking on the save project icon or press Command S or Control S on Windows and then give a name to it. So we will name it as map and then press save. Now you will see that the untitled heading has been updated with this map QGIS. And now in order to open it, you can anytime go to project and open, and then from there you can select this map.qgz and press open, and then this project would be opened. So in this way you can save the project and work on it after some time. You don't have to go everything in one go and then make the map. Now let's create new features using the all points data. So in order to do that, you go to layer menu, then create layer, and then here new shapefile layer. You can also find this option handy right here. So click it. I'll recommend that you make a folder, and within that folder you save all the shape files. The first shape file that we are making is of building. So you just type in the name, press save, choose the CRS. Now basically for every feature you have to choose a particular geometry type. So that feature can be a point, a line, or polygon. So you just press polygon for this building feature because that's how buildings are made. You can also add certain fields. So by default I am adding this only ID, which has an integer value. You can also add in some other field. Let's say you want to name the building, so you can add the name field and select the type as, let's say, a text, that is a string, and then set its length, and then click on add to fields list. Name field has now also been added. You will click OK. Now you'll see that your buildings layer has been here. Now in order to draw a building polygon, you click on this toggle editing and then this add polygon feature. There is a shortcut key also, that is Ctrl plus dot. Now you just zoom in to make the building. While drawing it, you can also click on this map pen and then drag around left or right to see when things are not visible in your region. Now you click on B1, B2. I'm just left clicking it and then selecting the points. And then in order to precisely locate these points, it's better to zoom in and then click on this. Just go here and then left click. Once you are done making a particular polygon, we'll now just right click and then give it an ID, let's say 1, and give it a name. We will write the building name. So for now I'm just writing building name and then pressing OK. I'll see that building name and ID has been fed in the system, and then our polygon has been drawn here. Now you can again go on clicking this icon and then drawing another polygon feature and giving it ID and then some name, let it be null for this. Okay, so similarly you can create more polygons for buildings, and once you are done with this all, you can select this building, right click, go to properties, and then let's apply a symbology to it because this doesn't look nice. So just cross this favorites and then you will see a lot of options. So you can click on anything and press apply, that will be applied. Usually buildings are shown by this hashed crew, so you click apply and then it's there. You can also change the color from this and choose any color of your interest that looks nice to you. So I'll set this as hashed grid only and then press OK. So that's how you create polygon features. Similarly, you can go to layer, create layer, and then new shapefile layer, and then make other features. So let's say you want to make road, so you just add a shapefile for road, select as line string, and then if you want to add fields for these particular features, you can also add in. So I'm leaving it as default only and then pressing OK. Now there's this toggle editing again, and then this add line feature. Now let's say there are certain points which are visible to you which are off road. So there is a road here, those points are there, and then let's just assume that there are points that I am joining and drawing. Then hitting it again and then adding other roads. Let's say that's a road network. Okay, and then there is this vertex tool that you can click, and then once you have drawn a particular feature, you can also edit it at any point of time. So you can just click on this, add a new node to it, or just replace existing node's position to fit in as per the points data. And you can go to another layer and then change the points location for that layer as well. So nothing is permanent unless you print the map. Okay, so you can go to any layer and then keep editing that layer in a way that is more suitable to you. Now let's just change the look of this road. Again, you go to properties and then you go to this symbology. Here you click on the single symbol, and then there are plenty of options which are available. So let's say this dash black, you apply, it will be applied by this. Usually roads are represented by this topo road, and press apply. So this road which is visible now. So that's how you create a polyline feature. Now next, let's just make a point feature. So let's just select trees. So trees we have selected, and then we'll again go to this new shapefile layer and then add a tree shapefile. Select this as point. Okay, then we'll just click on this toggle editing, and then this points data. Now you can basically zoom into the trees that's there, and then by zooming in you just left click, give ID, left click, give ID. And similarly you can add more trees, and you can pan left, right. So I'm not adding it for all, just this much is fine, I guess. Now you just zoom out, and now let's change the symbology for this trees also. So I'll just put this trees layer at top and go to properties and then symbology. There are default symbols which you can choose from and press it, so there you can apply this, but usually trees are represented by a tree mark. So how can you make a tree mark? So just press this cross, you will see a lot of options here. Just select this topo camp, and then from this topo camp remove this SVG marker background and select only this SVG marker first one. Now go down and you will see a lot of options of SVG images. Search tree, you will find a tree symbol here. You'll click on that, and then you can also assign a color. So let's just give it maybe this green color, and then press apply. Now you'll see that tree symbols has been applied to those points. Just okay, yeah, you see that now trees are also visible in your map. So that's how you create your features. So we now know how to create a polygon feature, a polyline feature, and point features. Similarly, you have to repeat this process for all the points data that you've recorded and make a map out of it. You can also add a Google satellite layer to your data in order to compare it and see how well your data is looking with the base layer. So in order to do that, you can click on this XYZ tiles, right click, create a new connection, type in a name. So let's put satellite image, and then there is a URL that you have to feed in here. So I'll attach this URL in the description, and then you paste in here, and then leave the other settings as default and press OK. Now that connection has been added. I had already added it with the name Google Satellite, so I'll just double click it, and now you'll see that Google satellite data has been added to your map. You have to put this layer at the bottom so that it is at the farmost point in your map. So this order of precedence is in a way that whatever is at top, it will be in front, and whatever is at bottom, it will be behind that layer. Alright, so that's how you give the order of precedence based on that thing. Okay, now you'll see that this is not perfectly fitting in with the data because Google satellite data has got errors in it, and that errors are much more than your survey work, so it's not accurate. That's why it will not fit perfectly, and then you will see that there is a deviation from the buildings that you have drawn with this Google satellite data. So you can unhide this. We'll start making contours for our map. So for that, we already have this ground points data. We will toggle that on, and then we will hide all of the features. Now you go to properties, then in labels you select a single label, and then set elevation value as the one to display, and then press OK. Here we have the elevation values of these points. Using these elevation values, we will try to interpolate and find the elevation values of all the points near our area and then make contour out of it. So for that, we will use a toolbox called IDW interpolation to interpolate these elevation values. We will go to toolbox, search for IDW interpolation. So in the interpolation tab, you will find this IDW interpolation. Double click it, select the vector layer as ground points. So that's the layer that you are using for making contours. Set the interpolation attribute as elevation or Z. Tick use Z coordinate for interpolation. Click on this plus sign, and now you'll see that this ground points vector layer has this points data. So we are selecting points. Drag down, select this extent, let it be default, and then leave it as it is. Let it save to a temporary file. If you want to save it, then you can save it to a file by clicking on this. Now hit run. IDW interpolation is basically an inverse distance weighted interpolation which makes use of inverse of the distance from the points where you know the elevation values and try to find the interpolated height at those points which are unknown to us. It is completed. You can hit close. Yeah, so now you can see that you have this interpolated layer with you. Now you can hide this ground points data, and this is the interpolated contour layer. Let's go to properties, and then in Symbology click on this contours, and let's just choose a contour interval that's suitable for this area. So maybe let's try this with 0.1 maybe, and in text contour interval let's just try with this one. Alright, so you will hit apply, and then now you will see that your contours are visible to you. You will have to experiment it and change this contour interval value in order to see like which contour interval best suits to your area according to the size. Now you can click OK. Now let's just convert this to a contour layer. So in order to do that, you'll go to this raster, and then here in extraction you will click contour, and then select this interpolated layer, and interval between contour lines you will select this as 0.1 because we had that's the one which is nicely depicted here, and then leave other things to default, and then you will choose a location to save these contours. So I'll click this save to file, and in the same folder where you are saving your other files, you can save this file and name this as maybe contours. Alright, and choose this shapefile and press save. Now we'll click run. Once it's completed, you can close this. You can hide this interpolated layer, and you will see that your contours are now visible to you. you can now go to properties, go to labels, click on single label, set the value to elevation and click apply. So we'll see now the values are visible to you. Now to make this decimal places consistent, let's just go to this epsilon sign right here, and then we will use something called formatting. So let's just erase this and then use format number, and then here we'll see that the first one is number and the next one is decimal places. So the number that we are using is elevation, and then the decimal places, let's put it maybe 1. Press OK. Let's try to apply it. Now you will see that there's just 1 decimal places of the contour intervals right here. Now you see that the contour interval is visible above the line. You can also change this in placement and select this online to see it online, or you can click on this below line to see this below line. So we are choosing it online. Now you see that these are coinciding with the contour interval lines. So in order to not do that, we can put a buffer to it and then click on draw text buffer and apply. Now a buffer would be applied to that. Let's just increase the buffer size to 2 maybe, and then apply. You can do more changes to the formatting in order to make it more aesthetically appealing as per your choice. So you can give a customized text formatting, buffer, mask, background, shadow, call out, placement, or rendering. So try them out and see it. Once you are completed with making all the features and contours for your map, you have to arrange these in the order of precedence, that the way you want to be coming up in the front, you should keep it at top, and the one that you want it to come up behind it, you should keep it below here in the order of precedence. Now in order to print the map, we will use something called map layout. So we'll go to project and then click on this new print layout, and then we name a print layout. So let's name it as print map layout 1, hit OK. Well, now you'll see that there is a blank print map layout has come up. Now we'll add a map by this icon that is here, add map. Now let's just add a map here. Okay. Yeah. By the way, by default this page which is there is of A4 size and in landscape orientation, and you can change this landscape orientation to portrait, or you can change the size of this paper to letter, legal, or something else. So for now let's just choose this A4 landscape only. Now when you click on this map, you can adjust its scale from here. So now once you adjust this scale, you will see that your map is a bit disoriented. So in order to orient it properly, you can make use of this move item content. That is a shortcut key of C. So you can just click C on your keyboard and then press the left mouse button key to drag this left, top, right, or so on, and then adjust based on whatever fits in. Now we'll go down there, and now let's just add a grid. So click on plus, modify grid. Let's just choose an interval that fits best for it. Maybe let's just try 100 by 100. Okay, so yeah, that looks okay, I guess. Okay, now you can also adjust its view. So you can go to this line style and then adjust its color or its opacity. So maybe let's just make it a bit lighter. That 20 looks okay. Now let's just add a frame to it. So maybe choose this as zebra nautical. That looks okay. Alright, now you can also draw coordinates on it. So currently your coordinates are not visible in this map, you can click on this draw coordinates, and now your coordinates would be visible. You see that these are in decimal, and then this is a bit off. Yeah, so it's better to put these in vertical instead of horizontal. So you can go to this right, and here it's horizontal. You can put this as vertical ascending, so that will be arranged in vertical ascending order, or you can put that as vertical descending in a way that you want it. So you can change that. So let's just put this as vertical ascending, and then the left one also as vertical ascending. Now it looks okay. You see that the decimal places are up to 3 decimal places, but we don't want that because all are just 000s. So let's just choose this as custom. Okay, so just click on grid number and then press OK. Now your grid numbers are right here. Okay, so that looks nice, I guess. So that's how you have added your map. Now let's just add a north direction. So to add a north direction, you can click on this add north arrow and then put it here maybe. Now you can change this north symbol also. So you can go to this SVG images and search north, and there are plenty of options. Whichever you like, you can choose that. So let's just choose this one maybe. No, okay. Now by default the background color is white. You can also change this color to something else which you like. So maybe you can choose this gray, which doesn't look nice. Just click on this gray one and then choose a bit aesthetic color that looks okay with the background. Alright, now next thing is adding a legend. So to add a legend, you will click on this add legend and then put a legend here. Now you see that your legend has been added, and by default every layer that is there has added. If you want that these all layers should not come up, you want to hide certain layers. So let's say you don't want to hide all data because that's the data that you have used to make map. It's not in the map that is there. Okay, so you can click on this auto update and it will be untick. Now you can remove anything from this and that will be reflected there. So let's remove this all data that has gone. Let's remove this trees, and let's remove this road, building, contours and water. Let's just remove this two things like small park. Let's remove it, and then this contour for V4, background Google satellite, remove it. Alright, so that looks okay, I guess. So this much is okay. Now you can also add a title to this map legend. So you can just type in map legend and then that will be added here. Okay, and then at the bottom there are different options. So there is an option of columns. So if you press this 2, so that your map legend would be fit in with 2 columns, and you can update this in a way that you want. There are more formatting options that you can use. You can add a frame to it like this, and background, other spacing and formatting changes that you want, you can do it. Alright, so this looks okay, I guess. So we have added a map, we have added a map legend, we have added a north direction. Anything left? Yeah, a scale. So you have to add a scale. So you will click on this add scale bar and let's add a scale here. So scale has been added here. but that scale is visible here. You can change this scale to some other unit. So by default it's in like 50. So the fixed width here is 50. So let's just maybe choose 100 meter. That looks okay. And then you can change this to double box, line text, or some other sort of scale that you like. Let's just keep it this way only. Now there's an option of add text that is here. That is an add label. Now you can add a label from this. So let's just keep here and then add scale. So scale is, you can check the scale by clicking on this. So the scale is 1:3000. So click on here and then 1:3000. You can input the scale and click on this font and adjust its font. So let's just increase the font size. Let's change this font to Times. All right. Okay, so that looks. Lastly, if you want, you can also add a heading to your map. So again, go to this title and then we can add the title. So let's just add map title, and then you can go to font, set the font. Okay, you can do all of the changes, like you can draw a background, you can draw a buffer, you can draw a shadow and other things, basically formatting things that's there. So you can do all sorts of formatting right here. You can adjust the alignment from this, add a frame if you want. Once you are done with this all, you can now print your map. So in order to print your map, you will go to this export as PDF and then select the file where you want to save it. So let's just click downloads and then map and then save it, and then it will ask for certain options. So image compression is, one is lossy and one is lossless. So it's recommended you choose this as lossless. Then there's certain option of Geospatial PDF. So I'll tell you what is Geospatial PDF. Just leave it untick and click save. So that's one PDF that I have saved. Now let's just create a Geospatial PDF. So I'll name it as map Geospatial and then save it. And this time let's just click this create Geospatial PDF. Now I will see that there are all sorts of features that's here. So basically a Geospatial PDF is one where you can tick or untick certain features in an area within the PDF itself. So if you want it to be visible, then you can click on that and click on attributes. So let's just keep all the attributes ticked here. Okay, and then click save. So here are the two PDFs that I have saved. One is a basic PDF. So here you can see that's like a simple PDF. That's the general PDF that we use. And then here we have something called as Geospatial PDF. So what's new with this Geospatial PDF is that you will have an option of layers here. So if you click on this layers, now you can hide or unhide certain features within this PDF. So that PDF is not static but dynamic. So you can hide anything from this and then see particular sorts of features. So let's say we hide this boundary, hide this park, hide this wall, hide the background, hide the contours. So you can do all sorts of manipulation with this Geospatial PDF. That's why we call this PDF as Geospatial PDF. Here are a few examples of the map. So that's a map of an area near to a canteen. One thing which is not correct in this map is that these contour lines are made above buildings and roads. Contour lines are always made of natural features, not man-made. So it should not appear above buildings or road. It should appear only above natural features like ground or maybe garden or some other area. So that's one incorrect thing in that. And then contour interval is also not written. Anyway, it's written here but not explicitly written. So we recommend that you mention the contour interval that you have chosen for your map. And that's another example of a map. So we have contour interval written here, and then the scale, and then the group members name, map legend, and other things. You can also include the coordinate system that you have followed. So WGS 84, UTM 44N can also be mentioned, and if you want you can also put in your group members name and instructor name. This is how we make a map using QGIS. If you have any questions or need further assistance, feel free to reach out during the labs or drop me a mail. Good luck with your group projects and happy mapping.